Assalamualaikum and a very good day to everyone. Today I would like to share with you our research findings entitled Camera Trap Survey of Understory Bird Richness at two selected forest reserves in Cameron Highlands. Birds are members of the class Aves in the phylum Chordata in Animal Kingdom, and birds range in size from the tiny hummingbirds to the huge ostrich. There are 10,200 living bird species in the world, causing them to become the most diverse class of terrestrial vertebrates. In Malaysia, there are a total of 845 bird species, of which 17 are endemic and 63 species are globally threatened. Birds play an integral role in controlling insect population and also as plant seed dispersal and even as flower pollinations. And birds not only vulnerable to climate change but also to man-made habitat changes. Peninsular Malaysian montane tropical rainforest make up becoming the mountainous spine of the Malay Peninsula. It extends to the east of Peninsular Malaysia in Kelantan, Terengganu and Pahang states. This mountainous ecoregion home to various species of birds. Montane zone is different than lowland forests because temperatures fall and expand the precipitation at higher altitudes. Birds in tropical rainforest Malaysia are varying in sizes, shapes and color, and montane species generally are less resilient to heavy man-made development. For your information, Camera Trap is a modern digital camera that is connected to infrared sensor which can sense warm objects that are moving. This camera will automatically capture pictures or videos when the sensor is triggered a motion. Camera Trap can record animals' behavior although the researchers are not around. Camera trapping has been utilized in ecological studies for decades to record wildlife behavior without disturbing their habitats and ecosystem with little to no human intervention. Researchers can use the non-invasive camera trap to detect the existence a wide range of species as well as rare and endangered species in particular area. Furthermore, photos and videos from camera trap can evaluate of an animal's phenotype appearance such as body size, color, and condition. What is activity pattern? Activity patterns is a subset in general study of behavior in animal. Activity pattern is the time of day when the birds are awake and active. In animal ecology, animal species that mainly active during the day is called diurnal animal, whereas animal species that active during the night is called nocturnal animal. Birds can adjust their daily activity patterns in response to changing of environmental factors and habitat types. There is no recorded study of birds conducted at two forest reserves in Cameron Highlands, which is Terla A Forest Reserve and Bertam Forest Reserve. Generally, research for birds conducted through using of mistnet, and this process is limited to catching and can hurt the birds during the procedure. Less birds can be harmed by using camera trap method. Benefit study on birds diversity using camera traps is study can be conducted without disturbing their habitat and ecology. The objective for this study is to determine the diversity of birds at two forest reserves in Cameron Highland using camera trap and to analyze the activity pattern of birds at two forest reserves in Cameron Highland. Survey had been conducted at Cameron Highland, and the study area consists of Terla A Forest Reserve and Bertam Forest Reserve. These forests are currently positioned with high altitude between 800 meters to 1,600 meters above the sea level. Figure A and B shows the disturbed forest at Terla A and Bertam, and Figure C shows the camera traps distribution. So we use three types of camera traps. A total of 10 units of camera traps were used to photo capture and video record the occurrence and the presence of any birds that passed through the cameras. This camera trapping method was conducted for 5 days at Terla A and Batam Forest Reserve, and this study was carried out in 2 phases. The first phase is from 20th to 29th August 2020, and the second phase was from 18th December to 28th December 2020. Camera traps were placed randomly on trees or stable trunks, and camera trap was set up on tree or pole with firm so that the camera trap was not rocky and easy to fall out. This camera trap should not be mounted more than 40 centimeters from the ground so that animals will move across their detection zone rather than towards or away from the camera. The position of the camera traps were denoted as in this figure. From the camera traps data such as temperature, date, and also time of activity can be extracted. So birds' image that were captured on the camera traps were identified in detail. The birds' phenotype were recognized by their body shape, feather patterns, tail, feather, beak, and also body colors. Bird species were identified through the database list name eBird and also using the reference books such as Birds of Southeast Asia. This is the results and discussion. From this study, we recorded a total of 73 images, which is from 10 families and 17 species, and one species recorded as near threatened, which is the chestnut cap laughing thrush, and also one more species recorded as vulnerable, which is the mountain peacock peasant. And the number recorded in this, the number of species recorded in this study, much more lower than the numbers of species recorded by Malcolm et al. 2021, which actually might be because of the method used. Malcolm used the method of observation and sightings, whereas in this study we used the camera traps. From table 2 and 3, Turla A Forest Reserve shows higher image on camera trap than Batam Forest Reserve. Turla A Forest Reserve has higher diversity index than Batam Forest Reserve. By observation and data collection in other part of the study, tree cover is lower in Turla A compared to Batam. And according to Pereira et al. 2014, he reported that openness in forest canopy might affect the number of invertebrates present in a forest stand. Table 4 shows the activity pattern of bird species recorded on camera traps. And here you can see that most of the images actually comes from the video image. And it recorded 16 species of birds as diurnal, whereas only one species, the owl or Otus spilocephalus, is categorized under nocturnal species. And there are bird species that shows overlap activity pattern, such as these Alcippe parentheses, Chronis wete, Neomela leucura, and Nil Tava grandis. And it shows that camera trap method was a useful method to study about diurnal and nocturnal species, since it can detect a larger number of species on diurnal or nocturnal time. And it also shows various activities of bird species recorded, such as walking, preening, foraging, sitting, bathing, and drinking. Here, I would like to share with you some of the camera trap images. And the first one is the Malayan partridge. The second one is the salty-backed porktail. This image shows the mountain bulbul. So this is the video shows the bulbul and other species at the same area. This is the owl image. So this is the um, video of the owl showing taking bath at the small stream. And then this one is the mountain peacock peasant under category conservation status of vulnerable. This one is the chestnut cap laughing thrush, and this bird is under near threatened. And this one is the white-throated fantail. In conclusion, the study about bird diversity at two forest reserves in Cameron Highlands, Turla A Forest Reserve and Bertam Forest Reserve using camera trap was successfully implemented. Bird diversity shows higher at Turla A compared to Bertam Forest Reserve, and there are 16 species diurnal birds and 1 species nocturnal bird recorded. But some species happens to have unusual activity pattern at base to study areas. This study also able to identify species that falls under vulnerable and threatened status from IUCN Red List. And in future recommendation, it also need to have more study about activity pattern for Malaysians mountain birds, as it is important for conservation of birds, especially for Cameron Highland. These are the references. We would like to thank Forestry Department, Peninsula Malaysia, and Forestry Department, Cameron Highlands District Office for granting permission to conduct the research and assistance during the data collection. We also like to thank our friends and colleagues who were involved in this research, and this research was funded by Forestry Department Peninsula Malaysia Research Grant for 3 RSM project. For that, we thank you.